What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Terminator Dark Fate, which is the sixth installment into the Terminator franchise. I'm just going to lay it on the floor. I did not like Terminator Dark Fate. I think it's an improvement over Genysis, but overall, I think the storyline and the creative direction that this movie took, I did not like it whatsoever. This movie had more things that angered me than I did enjoyed me. I'm going to get my positives out of the way first. For the most part, I think the cast is solid, though I think that the actress who played Danny, who was supposed to be our new protagonist, I thought she was the weak link of this entire movie. Her acting and her delivery is so bland and wet, it is just painful to see her on screen. And when she tries to be heroic and badass, she comes across as like a whiny 13-year-old elementary schooler trying to act tough. I'm sorry, I did not like Danny at all. No disrespect to the actress. She tried her best, but she's just not good. She has no on screen presence. With that being said, I actually did not mind the Grace character played by Mackenzie Mackenzie Davis. Honestly, I would have been more fine if this movie focused more on Grace than did Danny, because Danny to me is the weakest link and she brings everyone down. Grace, on the other hand, I actually thought she was pretty cool. I actually thought she had some badass scenes, and I like the whole gimmick of her being a human cyborg and that every time she fights a Terminator, it weakens her. It makes Grace feel vulnerable. And I thought Davis, in general, did a decent job playing the character. Uh, Linda Hamilton returns as Sarah Connor, and in terms of the action sequences, Linda Hamilton was badass. In some of her acting, Linda Hamilton looked like she'd rather be any place but in this movie. Though she does have really good, legitimate scenes where she does shine, particularly the scenes where she's with Arnold Schwarzenegger when you get to the second half of this movie. Linda Hamilton to me gives a mixed bag of a performance. Her action sequences, she looks like a badass. In terms of certain scenes where she's interacting, where she's bantering with certain characters, she sounds bored and tired. Though there are other scenes where she sounds good and energized and emotional. Linda's a mixed bag in this movie for me. Arnold Schwarzenegger makes an appearance in this movie as a T-100 named Carl, and it's Arnold. I can't criticize him because I love him, but I do like him as an actor. As in the acting department, I thought he was fine. In terms of the character direction of this version of the T-800, it's questionable, especially when you watch the first two movies. Since this movie is the true Terminator 3, when you watch those two movies and you see what this movie did and what its explanation was, it kind of makes you question why did you do this? And now when you watch the first two Terminator movies, you're gonna be like, oh, so that's what happens to a Terminator when they accomplish their mission. They gain autonomy. They walk to Earth until they find a family and then live a normal life. It's stupid and dumb, and I don't like it. And it makes absolutely no sense. Uh, from a production standpoint, I think Tim Miller is a very talented director, and in terms of the action sequences, I think he did a really good job with this movie. This is a good-looking movie from a visual perspective. And Tim Miller, he did Deadpool, so that Deadpool is a visually striking movie, and this movie is good as well. The special effects look fine for what they are. In some instances they look really really good, like in the prologue when they de-age Sarah Connor. It actually looks really good and realistic, and it feels like you're watching archival footage from Terminator 2. And then you have some instances where the CGI kind of looks a little janky in a lot of areas, but overall it looks fine. It looks watchable. The action sequences are all very well done. I think the best action sequences in this entire movie is the freeway chase scene. But then again, when it comes to action movies, the freeway chase is so overdone and redundant that you know it's going to be one of the better action scenes in a movie. But they're starting to get played out and passe. And not only that, the freeway chase scene is beat for beat no different than T2 or T3. To be honest with you, it doesn't really add much. Though it is well directed, I'll give it that. And most of the other action sequences are well directed as well. Tim Miller knows how to direct his action sequences, and he knows how to make them thrilling and visually exciting. I give him that. So yeah, let's get on to the negatives. From a storyline perspective, this movie is weak. It is T2 all over again, only done much, much, much worse. And the opening prologue of this movie creates the ultimate sin when it kills off John Connor. Now listen, I don't mind if you want to kill off John Connor, but why would you do it in the way that you did it in this movie? This movie should have been about John and Sarah Connor trying to train and shepherd the new generation of machine killers. a new generation of resistance members. Instead, you kill John Connor off in the prologue, and to me, it renders Sarah Connor's appearance in this movie utterly pointless because what is she doing? She's not doing anything. It's not like she's preparing. It's not like she's gonna pass the baton off to Danny. It's not like that's happening. This movie tries to force Danny down your throat, and this movie also tries and fails to replicate the Sarah and Kyle Reese relationship with the characters of Danny and Grace. It doesn't work, and it also tries to do the John Connor and T800 relationship with Danny and Grace as well, and it also doesn't work because Danny has no on-screen presence. Danny to me has no character. Not only that, Danny and Grace barely have any downtime where they get to know one another for me to actually care about them. Because when the character of Grace dies at the end of this movie, I have no connection with. To me, Danny and Grace have no connection, so I don't care. I don't get it. I'm not getting the emotion that I felt when the T800 sacrificed himself for John, because Terminator 2 built up that relationship so well that when the T800 died, you felt for it. You felt for John. In this movie, I don't feel it at all. It goes flat. It means nothing because they have no moments where they can actually bond and they can actually buy their relationship. It's poorly written. This is a poorly written movie. The rights go back to James Cameron. You think he's gonna save this franchise or fix it, and he just does more damage. I mean, I'll give the movie this. It's better than Genysis, at least. At least this movie has a more serious tone than Genysis does. That's not really saying much, because when you're replicating T2, what do you expect? Of course, you're gonna go serious tone, because T2 is a very popular and well-loved movie. Didn't need to be done again, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, the Rev 9 is a T1000 knockoff. Listen, no disrespect to the actor playing the Rev 9. He's doing the best he can, but he doesn't have the menace or the presence like Robert Patrick does in that movie. I just don't buy him as a villain at all. It doesn't work for me. And the whole thing of a Terminator, when they complete their mission, gaining autonomy, and that means they can live a normal life, that is stupid. That makes absolutely no. It's like it kind of negates T1 and T2 when you look at it. When you look at it from that aspect, it's like, really? So once the Terminator does all these, the Terminator from 21 does all these heinous things, all these murders. Just know that if he were to have killed Sarah, his purpose in life would be to start a family. If the T1000s would have killed John Connor, his purpose in life would be to start a family. Do you see how stupid it sounds when you actually apply it to the last two movies? It sounds stupid. Not only is, speaking of stupid, as I go again, killing off John Connor's character also just renders T2 pointless. What was the purpose of T2 if you're just going to kill John Connor off in the first 2 minutes as a child? It's not the fact you killed John Connor off, it's the fact you did it following Terminator 2. It's not like you had to age John Connor, who made a sacrifice to kill himself so that the new generation can live on and carry out he and Sarah's legacy. That would have been a much more respectful and much more thrilling way for the John Connor and Sarah Connor characters to finally just rest in peace and pass on to the new gen. And instead, we don't get that at all. We get this half-hearted Dark Fate movie that has moments where it is legitimately good, despite some very janky performances. It is, in moments, very, very good. It has very thrilling action sequences. For the most part, it does have some good acting. It does have some story beats that were interesting ideas, but they don't even come close to getting expanded upon. Hamilton's best scene is when she confronts Carl, the man who killed John, and that to me does not have a legitimately good enough payoff, to be honest with you. I mean, I would have liked to see more with that. I think Carl and Sarah, they should have died together trying to kill the Rev 9. I think that would have been a much fitting ending to their relationship and to their storyline together. And to me, it would have partially validated the killing of John Connor at the beginning of this movie. But this movie does not do that at all. And this movie tries to fake you into thinking that Danny and Sarah are having a mother-daughter relationship, but they don't have anything going on for them. they got nothing. The character of Danny in general is nothing. I would have taken Danny out, would have focused on Grace, would have had Grace team up with John and Sarah, with John and Sarah training Grace to be the new generation of soldier, bringing in the Carl character, who I would have found a way to have the Carl character be the T-800 from the Terminator 2. That's what I would have done. And don't say that that sounds stupid, because this movie in general, this movie did stupid things. At least my idea sounds partially better. And it has more validation. Unlike this movie. So yeah, at the end, I'm going to give Terminator Dark Fate a 4 out of 10. Listen, it's in terms of a technical aspect, it's better than Genysis. But from a storyline perspective, it takes creative choices that are dumb. And James Cameron, just please kill this franchise. Don't do no more. It's time to let Terminator rest, and let it rest for good. I'm AJ Legend. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.